A big factor in how much you sweat is genetic, determined by exactly how many sweat glands you have. But some bodies sweat more than others. Exercise with a group, and the differences become obvious. But what determines these variations? Commonly, answers focused on factors like body fat percentage and aerobic fettle. At the American College of Sports Medicine meeting, researcher presented some results that challenged those ideas. That abstract has now been appear in the Journal of Applied Physiology, and it has some hasty twists. The botheration with antecedent studies is that body fat and aerobic fettle tend to associate with added factors. People with lots of body fat tend to weigh more, so is it the insulative backdrop of fat that matter, or is it simply being bigger and having to haul around more weight? Similarly, people with high relative VO2 max tend to be abate overall, so maybe it's the body size, not the fitness, that makes the difference. To act aggravate out the key factors, researcher accumulated 28 volunteers with broadly capricious fettle and body sizes and put them through alternation of 60-minute cycling tests at altered intensities while barometer diaphysis and changes in body temperature. Sure enough, the change in amount temperature was mostly explained by how much heat they generated in pedaling the bike per unit of body mass, with no insulation effect. Heat production accounted for 50% of the variability in core temperature, and adding body fat percentage only explained another 2.3% of the variability. This suggests that two people who weigh the same and pedal at the same pace should heat up at the same rate, even if one of them is short and fat and the other is tall and lean. The same was true for overall sweat rate. Body fat percentage explained only 1.3% of the variation. It's important to note that this doesn't conflict with the general observation that people with lots of body fat tend to sweat more. But it's not because of the thermal backdrop of fat itself, it aloof takes added assignment to boot the added weight around. Similarly, VO2 max turns out not to accomplish a big aberration on its own, accounting for only 4% of variation in sweat rate. That seems counterintuitive, but again, it comes bottomward to how abundant calefaction you're generating. If you ask two people with different VO2 max to exercise at, say, 70% of their max, the fitter person will be pedaling or running much faster, and thus generating more heat. They're sweating more, but that's because they're doing more work, not because of some magical property of VO2 max itself. The bottom line? If you're trying to figure out whether you're likely to overheat on a hot day, or how much you're likely to sweat, simple rules of thumb about fatness and fitness aren't that useful.